Stick versus O'Connell. These names are just getting ridiculous. Thursday night football, Derek, week 15, Chargers, Raiders. Welcome to the Blitz Show, brought to you by Covers, where Derek Carty and his Blitz projections look to pick off the best. Plus EV plays for every primetime game. Another ugly one here Thursday night, another backup on a short week. But we've seen you on social media this week. I mean, the uglier it is, we say that a lot. The uglier it is, the more value there is. And I mean, the backup list is long so far this, Derek. 51 QBs have attempted at least 50 passes so far. But people don't want to go out there and bet the Tim Boyle overs, the week 13 Joe Flacco overs. And what's that causing? There's not a lot of liquidity in these markets. And these were markets that were hard to price to begin with. So they're not really becoming efficient. And I can tell how excited you are about the uglier the names at the QB.
I am so excited. This game is showing some of the best value that we've seen, I feel like, in a few weeks at least.
Since Tim Boyle?
Yeah, since Tim Boyle, probably. It's going to be gross. It's going to be ugly. There's no guarantees of anything, but the expected value on this game is very strong.
And how exciting is it to get an ugly game plus an indoor setting?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I love it.
There's a lot more hidden there. So we got 3 full-fledged plays. Let's get going. Josh Kelly under 19.5. Oh, sorry, that just moved, but we're still on the 18. Sorry, Josh Kelly under 18.5 rushing yards, minus 114. That's at FanDuel. That's a play. Ekeler's healthy, which we haven't been able to say. He's been designated basically every week. And he had just 7 snaps. He played 7 snaps. Kelly played 7 snaps last week, 3 carries for 6 yards. He hasn't topped this number in 6 straight weeks, and that was with a bigger role.
Yeah, and Isaiah Spiller was involved last week for the first time in quite a while. It looked like Isaiah Spiller is kind of the primary backup over Kelly right now. If that's kind of what's going on in LA, then this is a very high number for Kelly, who might only see a couple of carries. The Blitz is projecting about 9 yards for him here, and so I like this number quite a bit.
So, I mean, the difference between 9 and 10 yards there is when you're looking at the standard distribution, the 20 yards and the 21 yards doesn't have a lot of percent on it, I'm sure, over on that far side.
Yeah, no. I mean, there's variance. If he winds up, actually being the backup, or Ekeler gets hurt or something and he winds up with a bunch of carries, sure. But on average, he's going to go under this a high percentage of the time.
Yeah, open at 19 at FanDuel, has gone down to 18 as of we're recording here on Wednesday. PointsBet does have a 20.5, but it's juiced minus 130 to the under. So we'll see that number continue to fall down as Thursday approaches. Let's get it. Easton Stick over 19.5 completions plus 115. That's at PointsBet. That's a play. Yes, he likes the plus 115. He's 28.
Yeah, there's an 18.5 out there. I think it was minus 122 at FanDuel. But I'll take the whatever that is, 30 some odd points and take the extra completion at 19.5. It really comes down to just, it's gross. No one wants to bet the over on Easton Stick, but that's why we do it. The Blitz is projecting 22.5 here. So three full completions over the 19.5 at plus money, 4 completions over the 18.5. He's got decent weapons. Josh Palmer's coming back. Obviously, he's got Keenan Allen. He's got Austin Ekeler. He's got Gerald Everett, who's a solid tight end. And this is a team that likes to pass the ball to begin with. They're not going to pass the ball as much as they did with Justin Herbert, but they pass so much to start with. This is still a team that should skew a little bit pass heavy. They haven't been trusting the running game. Ekeler, there's been, whispers about, maybe scaling him back a little bit, which is what we've seen the last couple of weeks with Spiller mixing in more and that sort of thing. So this is a team that should be passing a good amount. They're indoors, which should lead to more passing, more efficient passing. And the line is set too low because the narrative is this guy's bad.
He's 28, so he hasn't cracked the lineup. So he's not a guy who's like a 6th round, maybe 2 years in the league, 1 year kind of rookie going on. He's got 13 preseason games under his belt. He completed 62% of his passes, and he's been within the organization since 2019, which means that he does have a feel for everything that goes on with the playbook, with everything that goes on with that offense. We could see a situation. I mean, he's not going to go out there and throw for 320 probably like Joe Flacco did, but we've seen guys like Jake Browning, like who just step up and just because it could be one of those days where you're looking at it. I don't know what his actual yardage prop is. I'm assuming it's probably sub 200 or right around that mark, somewhere around O'Connell's number 2. If he goes up and like hits milestone 250, milestone 300, like you're talking like 12-1 stuff that just because he's so doubted, there is a chance that it goes that way. In the indoor setting, like we said, usually not as priced in as it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot working in our favor on this one. It shows big value.
Tim Boyle, first game versus Miami, big dog. I believe it was at home, outdoors, 19.5 completion, the same number. Worst weapons.
Yeah, I think, and he wound up completing like 27 passes or something crazy. Like
I think he might have had 2 first downs in the first half, and like it was all second half game script garbage.
Yeah, it was a lot of short passes, which we could see here with Stick also. You know, short passes to Ekeler, short passes to Keenan Allen. That's certainly what we'd be hoping for here.
Yeah, Vegas defense does tend to give it up underneath, but let's go with that. Stick over 19.5 completions, moving from the 18.5 to the 19.5 to get that plus 115. Austin Ekeler under 13.5 carries, minus 130. That's at Bet365 the time recording. Also a play. You talked about possibly getting him scaled down. You talked about bringing 3 backs into the system. This is over in just one of his last 4. There's game script. There's the indoor factors that always increases passing. So there's a lot to like this one on a number where people probably aren't. They're looking at it more of a coin flip just if you look at his game logs.
Yeah, I think people probably view it that way, but I don't think we should be. His snaps, his carries, everything have been scaling down of late. On the season, he's played 60% of snaps. The last 3 weeks, it's 53%. Last week was 37%. Yeah, he's getting healthier, but he still hasn't looked great this year. And we've seen the Chargers' willingness to work in, extra backs now with Spiller last week. So I think the narrative is probably like, oh, well, Justin Herbert's out. They're going to have to lean on the run game a lot.
Yeah.
And on average, when a team loses a starting quarterback, we can define how much extra they run, and they do. But it's not massive. It's not this much. And especially if Ekeler isn't going to be getting the workload that he used to before, this number looks good. The Blitz is projecting 10.5 carries. So we're getting, a good amount under. We're getting it at a good number. I like it.
Sounds a lot like me betting on Jerome Ford, first game back with Joe Flacco indoors at the Rams. And they're just, Stefanski's just airing it out. Like indoors does have a lot to play with it. The under 13.5 looks good here. Good enough for a play. And one thing that, I mean, I've picked up some Easton Stick TD at like 11-1. It's moved to like 650. 650 is probably still pretty good. But Ekeler, we talk about carries. You can pile up carries in the red zone. He has just 7 red zone carries over the last 4 games, and those are big ones. Like if you can get like 3 or 4 red zone cracks on a drive, that goes a long way. And if you're not getting those, that under holds a lot more value.
That's the other thing that I didn't even mention. You're right. Easton Stick is mobile. Like he's going to take some of the design runs. He's going to take some of the stuff in the red zone. Like that's going to take away from the running backs load as well.
Yeah, 11-1, 40-1 first, 40-1 first, 40-1 last. Like it was one of those perfect things where he came in, he had good snaps, but he didn't take any carries in that game. So the betting community really didn't pick up on it unless you kind of looked at what he did in his collegiate career, which was 29 rushing touchdowns and 30 in his final 2 seasons. So let's hope he keeps going that, but I'll be happy with all these. Let's go. Josh Kelly under 18.5 rushing yards, minus 114. Easton Stick over 19.5 completions, plus 115. And Austin Ekeler under 13.5 carries, minus 130. All plays. As Derek said, this game showing some of the best plus expected value that, I don't know, going back a couple weeks and probably somewhere in the top on the season. So let's run it that way, Derek. It's nice to see 3 plays on an ugly Thursday night football, but let's get it. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Derek Carty. This is the Blitz Show brought to you by Covers. We'll see you back here for a full slate of Saturday football. Make sure you tell the wife if you miss a Thursday night game, make sure you stick around for 48 hours of football this weekend. So we'll see you then.